would you stand up defending all that's right and good? Well, Judy, 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 Judy would. What if the criminals could threaten your career? Would you disregard the easy road and climb up through the field? Would you call out from the mountain even if you could? Well, Judy, 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 Judy would. How is a tidewood like a tree? What does this mean to you? Can we solve this mystery? Can we find the energy? Can we get our mind around disintegrating walls with billiard balls? Judy Ward.
Dr. Judy Wood, why don't you lead this off and let's get the sounding evidence here of what really happened at 911.
Well, contrary to what most folks think, they're told to collapse, so they think it collapsed. The towers, didn't burn up either. They didn't burn up and they didn't slam down. They turned into dust in midair. But how do we know this? Well, if they slammed to the ground, you'd have a pile of rubble that would be relative to the size of a couple of 110-story buildings, a 47-story building, a 22-story building, and half of a few other buildings as well. It wasn't there. Not enough rubble was there for that. Also, if it slammed to the ground, Manhattan would have been flooded because the towers were built on bedrock that is about 70 feet below the water table. They're built out in the Hudson River with this dike around the base called a bathtub. And if those towers had fallen down, they would have ruptured the bathtub and you would have had southern Manhattan flooded through the PATH train tunnels, through the subway tunnels, and so forth. Also, if they'd slammed to the ground would have shaken with a big thud, and it would have been recorded on the seismic charts. About a 20-story building or a 16-story building crashing to the ground is what the seismic chart recorded for the two towers, not a 110-story building. And for Building 7, there really was no significant seismic event outside of background noise. But on the same chart, you could see quarry blasts in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey. So we know the seismic recorder was working, was operational. But there really wasn't a seismic event associated with the demise of Building 7. So it didn't slam to the ground either. So the buildings didn't burn up or slam to the ground. They turned into dust in midair. And dust doesn't make a thud when it hits. Also, if they had slammed to the ground, the stuff in the building needs to go somewhere. Imagine this, if it collapsed down like a pancake, it's going to squirt stuff at it like Mach 1 or Mach 2. Like close to 2,000 miles an hour, it would be squirting stuff out. And it would look like a machine gun had blasted the side of all the buildings surrounding the World Trade Center. That didn't happen. But what we do find is, a few stab wounds here and there, a few beams that went through, jabbed into buildings, but not really above the 18th floor. Nothing way high up. And the adjacent buildings were as high as 60 stories tall. But what we did find is round holes in the windows, sometimes just in the outer pane of a double-pane window, leaving the inner pane intact. Cars went into spontaneous combustion up to a half a mile away. Dust went up when the towers were destroyed, blocking out 100% of the sunlight for a period of time. Some cars were turned upside down. There's evidence of levitation.